Thank you for tuning in to Curve Uncensored. I am your host, Carolyn. And as I always say, I'm not here for a long time, but I am here for a good and informational time. So let's get into the show. But before we do, remember everything I say is strictly for entertainment purposes only, nothing more, nothing less. Okay, so let's get right into it. Listen, I know y'all are sick of hearing about P. Diddy. P. Diddy, P. Diddy, P. Diddy. You can't turn on the TV, you can't turn on the radio, you definitely can't go to the internet and not hear what's going on in his life. And actually, for the children, it's very unfortunate. And that's really, I'm saying that when I'm saying it for all the children, not just the little girls, especially them. But I think he kind of kept them a little protected. But the adult males, but they're young still, they should not have been exposed to some of the things that Diddy was doing. I'm sure we all can agree on that, right? So I feel bad for the children, but for all the people that Diddy has impacted, allegedly, over the years, and it's hard to say alleged on all of this. You really just say alleged because you're trying to protect yourself, okay? But all the people that he has impacted their lives negatively. All the things that they're found that he's guilty of, I mean, most of those children, you know, have suffered too. Their parents have been through a lot, and indirectly, the children are going to be impacted and have been impacted because I mean, this man has been doing this for a long, long time, and it's so unfortunate. And we are all focusing on Diddy, right? What Diddy did, the trafficking and the abusing of women, which I totally am totally against because most people who follow me on my channel know that I lost my oldest daughter to domestic violence. So I am totally against that. It ain't nothing he could say or look at my direction when it comes to that. That's unforgivable. However, the other things that he's been accused of doing, drugging women and stuff like that. You can't be giving around here giving people no alcohol and drugs against their will. Now, if these women drunk this stuff on their own and had partake in some of these type of things, which then they're of age, then that's on them. However, for the ones that were unwilling and did not know that these things were happening, he's out of gas for that. He has to pay the price. And it's unfortunate for his family because everyone, just like they benefited from his fame and success, they're going to have to, deal with the consequences of what's going on. And it's unfortunate because as adults, once we do certain things, if we have children, they are going to be impacted, and I really hate that for the children. But I kind of want to get into a little bit about everything because we're focusing so much on him being in jail and if he's going to get out, and which I don't see that coming. I don't care if he had Johnny Cochran here. God rest his soul. I don't think Johnny Cochran would have been able to get him out of this because this stuff has been going on such a long time. You know what I'm saying? Such a long time. And in the whole vast of this, it seems like in the criminal stuff, he still has a lot of civil lawsuits that keep popping up. And I know he had a big influence. And people were afraid because for what they were saying, he was running New York, right? That's one of the things he said. And a lot of other places, obviously, the minds of people. He was living in people's heads, of course. They didn't come out of the sky until Cassie stepped up and moved forward. And we all know Cassie, and listen, I didn't even know that the guy Cassie is married to was his former trainer or something. He worked for Diddy. So they done got together, I'm sure, and said, hey, he did these things, honey, he need to pay. And you know what? It is what it is. He should have never done them. And if he felt that he was guilty, he knew he was guilty, but what it was, he didn't realize that she had a copy of that tape. And when that tape hit the surface, it was over with for him. He should have cut this off. But you know what? Could he have really cut this off? Because at some point, it was going to hit the fan. He had too many people involved. Too many. My granddad used to always tell me, if you're going to do some dirt, you better do it by yourself because people will turn on you. And that's one of the things. I think Puffy felt that the people he was dealing with had a lot to lose. And he felt that they weren't going to tell on him. They had like this little secret thing going. They're not going to blow me because you know what? Not literally, because the word on the street is they were doing it. But they weren't going to blow my cover, let me say, because they didn't want their cover blown. because he, as you know, we all know, he had tapes all around the crib. Why you keep evidence like that, and then why you keep it in the house? And why so many people knew you had it up in there? Huh? Somebody was gonna know though, because he didn't install them. Anytime you do something like that and there's other people involved, you running the risk of being infiltrated. You understand what I mean? But my biggest thing, it's really bigger than Puffy. Of course, he's the core, and that's what everyone's focused on because everyone knows him, and he had such an impact on our culture, as African Americans. But the big thing in this whole situation is that music transcends a lot in our culture. It's a big way we communicate. You understand what I'm saying? And because he had such an impact on the music industry and so many artists, and it's gonna really be detrimental to the industry in itself. But it's all not bad when you think about it because it needed to blow up because he had been doing this for way too long. What they say, like 30 something years, 30 years, 20 plus years, whatever, a long time. And I don't understand why he didn't feel like it was gonna come to a head. You can't do stuff up for so long before it comes to a head. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think his karma is just coming around to bite him. He did a lot of people dirty from what they say out here in these streets allegedly. And not really allegedly because people saying it and there are people with receipts that are saying and have proof how many people he took advantage of, had them working for him, writing for him, and him not paying him. He benefited. He's sitting here a billionaire, and these people barely can feed their families. Now, what they do that at? What they do that at? What made him think that was okay? Ever, ever, ever okay? But you know what? I feel as if the people who showed Puffy the business did some of these same things to him. All the essay stuff that was going on up in his little situation, I feel that people did that to him. People that showed him the music business showed that to him. He just the fall guy. And you know what? It looked good because his bank account kept growing. And the thing is, all money ain't good money. Now, let me tell you something. Came across my IG today, and it was a guy. He has a page. His name is I am Ash Cash. I think is what his name is. What I got off of his handle. But he put this little collage together, and I'm gonna show you some excerpts of it. And it's so ironic. And he stated that it's kind of like prophetic, almost like Puffy spoke these things into fruition. Like he said these things could happen, people could come from him, and it did. Run this city, send the cops, DA, defense to come get me. Cats want to leave me for dead, you're coming with me. All right. Did y'all hear that? Did you see the number on his shirt was 24? Do you know he got busted in 24? I mean, I am Ash Cash made a good point. When I heard the revelations he was picking out and brought to, I'm like, I gotta say something about this too. Because that was a good point. I was like, man, they did this song back in 21. And he was talking about things in 2024. And this is the really ironic part about it. He didn't even write his verses on that song. 50 Cent did. 50 Cent actually wrote that verse. Yeah, 50 Cent did that. Uh-huh. And 50 Cent have a lot to say about what's going on with the Puffy thing. So it's kind of strange. I'm looking at 50 Cent, you got some powers over there? Because it seems like everything that Puffy spoke about in that song came to fruition in 24, which is the number he had on his jersey. So I'm like, boy, was somebody checking for him? And actually, I had stated that all this came tumbling down on him after him and his family performed at the awards show. It's just like a whole, like, they had it, they were just waiting, sitting back. And the thing is, with P. Diddy, his head was so big, he had developed so many enemies. Or should I say frenemies? Because some of the people around him wanted him to go down too. You cannot do dirt to people and think you're gonna have good luck. God ain't gonna let that happen. Mm-mm. Nope. God is not gonna let that happen. So I feel like some of this is karma. 50 Cent has been saying a whole lot of stuff about P. Diddy. Of course, he's from New York too. And it's just strange how all these people that have been idolized for such a long period of time has so many skeletons in their closet. They were doing a lot of dirty stuff. My thing is, before all this went down, who wouldn't go to a Diddy party? You understand what I'm saying? I mean, if you think about it, who would go? Because Diddy was like, he was known for being a businessman. He was known for being successful, music business. Everything he touched seemed to turn gold. So at one time, who would want to be in his presence? You understand what I'm saying? But people who knew that you go to the main party, because there wasn't nothing wrong with going to the party, the white party. But after a certain time, they say you got to get up out of there. You got to bounce. You cannot stay there. And like Cat Williams saying, you got to tell Diddy no because he be wanting the body. So my thing is, how many people wouldn't, if you keep it 100, would not have went to a Diddy party? It was a spot, and if it looked like they were nice parties, you know what I mean? All the celebrities there moving around amongst you. It's like a free concert. And he had people of all races in there. All races. You understand what I'm saying? And when I tell you the main people you're hearing about being, you know, on the chopping block have been African American. That's why I feel that this is something to shake up our culture, our race, and all that. It's more than just puffing. But you know, so many young African American young men and other races, they want to get into the music industry. And a little bit has been seeping out throughout the years about how publishing was going, how these big record labels were taking the money from these people who were their artists. And now artists, they became being more and more enlightened. And now we're finding out behind the scenes. Of course, they had what they consider a rite of passage where they had all this fugazi stuff going on. Hunte, it wasn't just about your skill. So you ever be in a place, you ever go to like a little spot, a little restaurant, you know, and you be like, man, and they have live music, and you be like, man, they got a nice voice. Man, that band is hot. They should be touring. They should be doing this. And you wonder why these people are not touring. And you wonder why these people who have really nice voices never made it. Well, they probably didn't want to sell their soul. They probably didn't want to do that. They probably was like, I'd rather go from place to place and do my little thing on my own little way and not be tied into the music industry, because those people that were part of the music industry and was trying to get in there that became enlightened was like, I don't want no parts of that. So that's probably why you hear these groups locally that sound really good, but never on a big platform. And you wonder why. And I think that's in all genres of music. I don't think it's just hip hop. They blowing hip hop up, but it's not just hip hop. I believe it's probably in all genres at some point. It's film business. I mean, it's a lot. People crazy around here. They're crazy. Okay, well, you think you gotta tell them no. You gotta tell them no. And this is my thing. Music is something that we groove to. Ever since back in slavery, we use it as a way of communicating. So you get in there and you break that up and you shake it up a little bit. You shake up the way we vibing and moving as a culture. Think about it now. You think about it. It's impacting the way we vibe and move as a culture. But some things need to be shaken up. I'm just saying. It's just like so many things nowadays are acceptable. Like a friend of mine say, you just gotta go along to get along, sometimes people think. And that really, everybody ain't about that. It's not like it used to be when, like I said, when people had certain urgencies and stuff, they had a way of chilling and holding it down. You know what I'm saying? They don't do that no more. It is real crazy. Like at one time, you could go out to the party, everybody would have a good old time and enjoy. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to worry about the shooting. And a lot of that stuff is manifested in music. And then also people become products of their environment. You know, a lot of low income places, you kind of have that mindset. You can have some people come up out of that, but you only know what you know. You only know what you know. And when it's being manifest, like the drugs and all that, and they talk about perks and all this stuff, you listen to all the fentanyl, like, all this stuff that's happening in our culture. It's crazy. Um, I do agree people should be able to be happy. Do what makes you feel good, boo. But it's just now, it's so many things that's put out. I think a lot of things that were not once acceptable during my time is acceptable. I don't know if y'all feel what I'm saying. I was agreeing with Lil Boosie when he was saying that African American women, we have to fight against all ethnic groups when it comes to finding a stable relationship. You know what I'm saying? For our girls. You know what I mean? So, in addition to that, and competing against other women, now it's so prevalent out here that you have a lot of men that are, interacting with each other. And my thing, people love who they love. You can't knock that. It is what it is. But it just seems like nowadays so much is perpetuated in music and on TV. So many young boys are confused. Young girls are confused. You know, so I think if P. Diddy, maybe felt that he could come out, maybe he would not have been doing so many things behind the scenes. And honestly, I don't even think it's all of that, because if consensual adults, like people who want to do the dress up thing and wear the nails and do this, they're adults. They can do what they want to do, whether people like it or not. You know what I mean? You don't have to like it, but it is what it is. People are free to be themselves. Give it to them. But it's just that it just reduces the amount of available men, because most of those young men are not into women. So that's even less between the jail, the other ethnic groups. Child, we over here with slim pickings for our daughters. I'm just saying. But maybe he would not have did so much behind the scenes. Now, the abuse, ain't even no question about that. He need to go sit down, be in jail, and don't even get out. Just for that alone. He need to really pay the price for that. The way he hit Cassie and the way he abused her and what they're saying he did to Kim. And I'm sure maybe some other people about that. I don't know. But for just those two alone, any one of those, he need to be sitting down. You don't put your hand. That makes you a coward. It makes you a coward. How do you just, she hit me, I was off the handle? No, 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 no. No excuse. No reprieve. It was too much too long. That's in him. And he considered it a dark time. It ain't dark when you dragging me down the street and hurting me, possibly killing me. Nah. So I don't care what dream team he come up with. I do not see him getting out of that. Do y'all see me, or do y'all think that's a possibility? I don't know. But I just think that a lot that's going on with him is karma. And I think a lot that's going on with him is them wanting to make an example out of him, because his head got too big. He wanted to be too much. And you never bite the hand that feeds you. Old school. That's old school talk, and they don't be wanting to hear that. But my grandma used to say it all the time. You never burn your bridges, baby. You never burn them. So I really just think it's coming back on make him sit down and burn. It's going to be just like that Epstein dude. Same thing. And I pray that he doesn't die in jail. But I don't see him walking around free. See, that's what happened. When he got picked up, he thought that he was getting out, because he always get out. But this time, they had other plans. They was like, when I get you in custody, see, he didn't do like Russell Simmons. Russell Simmons got up out of here. Out of here. If you listen to that video, you will hear about going to a different country and hiding out, all that stuff. That's what Russell Simmons did. He was like, I ain't coming over here. Y'all stay y'all crazy bleep bleep over there. But he got up out of here and he ain't been back. P. Diddy, when they lock him up, his lawyers normally get him bond, and he's out of there. But this time, it wasn't the case. They knew when they locked him down, because see, it's not just Diddy. It's Diddy and a whole lot of other people he can bring down. See, when they went into that house of his, they tore it up like they was looking for a whole bunch of stuff, but they didn't come out with a lot of stuff. They came out with those tapes, some baby oil, and stuff like that. And it wasn't much of it, but it came out with important stuff, so they could only let us know about who they want to know about. Because his word ain't gonna matter. Whatever P Diddy say, it ain't gonna matter. Ain't nobody gonna believe him if he say this person was there and that person said nah. We only gonna know what the FBI put out now. So they went in there to retrieve this stuff bigger than what we see. It's bigger. That is why I know he gonna sit. And if he don't sit, it might be worse before it's over with. We just gonna have to stay tuned and see. But you cannot, you know the old saying, can't do people wrong because you will reap what you sow. He thought he owned New York. He thought he ran New York. He thought he was untouchable in New York. He thought his whole family pretty much thought that. And at one time, yeah, he did. But the hammer done came down now. And I don't see nothing good coming up out of this. But, I don't know. I just want to talk about it because I felt like we all are talking about P. Diddy, him being in jail, and all of this stuff. And I'm like, it's bigger than P. Diddy. It's about our culture, how it's going to be impacted, like how we look up to people that shouldn't look up to, because only what you see. My grandma used to say, if everybody's lives were open books, baby, it'd be a lot to read. And that is such a true sentiment. Drop a comment. Let us sister know how you thinking. Am I thinking too much into this? I just feel like it's just so much going on. I don't think it has to do with the sexuality thing. I think that's just only part of it. Him being biased is just part of it. That's if you're grown, you do what you want to do. You know what I mean? That's your thing. But I think it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. It's about suing those spirit companies, and when they feel like they are the one who helped make you and give you the leverage that you got to help to go along with the music business. I mean, he had a lot going on. And then I heard something where he was starting this new political group. He could have done so well and done so much if he had not done the things he did. But you can't undo 30 years. You just can't undo it. So I think it's gonna get real if it ain't already got real. He ain't never sat down there that long. So I'm waiting to see who's gonna get the first whoever gonna get the first interview with him from by face to face, gonna break the internet open. They gonna break it open. It's gonna be the ratings gonna be up. Whoever can get that interview with P. Diddy gonna be paid. Okay. Let us know how you feel about this subject. It's unfortunate for everybody that's involved. I do understand the whole premise of things. You reap what you sow. You cannot, it's called karma. You cannot go around doing people dirty and think God gonna rain down on you. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Everybody has their just reward, and it just came his day. That's it. All right, y'all. I just want to go talk about it a little bit because everybody keep talking about it, and I'm like, it's more than just Puffy being in jail and sitting and what he eating and what he doing and all of that. It's about the big picture, how it's impacting our culture, how it's going to impact, a lot of different things, the way we think, the music industry, which is a main source of communication, but it could be used in a positive way too, because the music industry needed to be cleaned up. It needed to be cleaned up for a long time, from Patti LaBelle all the way from way back there beyond those days all the way up. It needed a shakeup, and they still ain't got to the real villains in this. Okay, we all know that, and they probably won't because half of them real old if they're not dead already. Okay, but anyway, just want to drop a line. But anyway, drop a comment. Let us know what you're thinking.